You ever have one of those moments where your whole life blows up right in front of your eyes and all you can do is wonder, how the hell did I get here? Yeah, that was me standing in my own garage, blood on my hands, the governor bleeding out at my feet, and half the neighborhood gaping at the scene like we were filming a bad cop show. And you know what set this all off? A single phone call from an HOA president with a vendetta and a warped sense of power. But let me back up a sec, because if you're listening from anywhere that has HOAs, you probably already know sometimes the real danger isn't what's hiding in your garage, it's what's hiding behind a neighbor's polite smile. My garage. Yeah, it's my sanctuary. Everything's got its place. Wrenches hang in neat rows, sockets lined up like obedient soldiers, that old '67 Mustang catching the overhead light just right. Most folks have their church or their bar. Me, I got a concrete floor, and the kind of quiet you only get with a little elbow grease and a lot of time. I still catch the faint scent of my dad on the leather, a reminder that some things are built to last. So there I was, enjoying the kind of evening that makes you forget about the rest of the world until a black sedan with government plates rolled up slow at the curb. Now, if you've ever had the government stop by unannounced, you know it ain't ever for small talk. Two suits step out, one of them scanning the place, the other heading straight for me. Before he even introduced himself, I knew this was about the folder I'd sent off, the one with every dirty secret our HOA president Karen Polson and her developer buddy had been hiding for years. Proof all in black and white that they were slicing up our lake access, cooking the books, funneling money. It was supposed to go to the Attorney General. I never expected the governor himself would show up in my garage. Governor Thompson looked tired but sharp. Gave me that nod politicians save for when they need you. He held up my envelope, told me I'd untangled something they'd been chasing for years. I thought finally maybe the good guys were about to get a win. And then, just like that, all hell broke loose, patrol cars screaming up, red and blue lights soaking the whole street, cops jumping out with their guns drawn, barking orders like they're storming a terrorist cell. My wife Tina was in the doorway, eyes wide, while a rookie officer, face pale, hands shaking, aimed right at me. Why? Because Karen, with her designer shoes and ice-cold smile, had called 911 and told them I had bombs rifles, maybe a militia in my garage. You ever seen someone lie so good it becomes real? That was Karen's gift, turning petty HOA gripes into a police standoff. I knew right then this wasn't about a fence or a noise complaint anymore. This was war. The rookie moved in boots, squeaking on the spotless floor. And wouldn't you know it, he stepped right into the only damn puddle of oil I missed that afternoon. Slipped, trigger finger tensed, boom. That shot rang out like a death sentence. And just like that, the governor dropped to his knees, clutching his side, blood blooming across his shirt. The whole place froze. Karen, she just stood there slack-jawed, watching the empire she'd built out of paranoia and paperwork crumble in real time. Chaos erupted, cops screaming, neighbors gawking, sirens drowning out every thought in my head. But the governor's protection detail, they moved with purpose. Agent Peters, the one with the steady hands, barked orders, got the medics working. I'll never forget what happened next. The medic looks around, sees my clean hands, and points straight at me. You. Here. Now. That's how I ended up pressing gauze into a hole in the governor's side, counting beats, telling him not to pass out, while Tina, always the tech whiz, started quietly recording everything. Turns out she was already scanning police frequencies, picking up every frantic call, even pulling body cam footage off the cloud like it was a Netflix special. Meanwhile, Karen's standing out there in her yard trying to hold it together as the truth starts to dawn on her, her call, her lie, her responsibility. You could see the color drain from her face when Tina cranked up the living room TV and piped that 911 recording out into the night. He's got rifles and bombs, you have to get here. Her voice, hysterical and crystal clear, played for every neighbor and cop in the cul-de-sac. When the body cam footage rolled showing the rookie slip and accidentally shoot the governor, you could hear the crowd gasp. The cops realized they'd been played hard. Tina didn't stop there. She started screen mirroring every bit of evidence we had. The entire story, raw and unfiltered, broadcast to anyone with a set of ears. By the time the ambulance loaded up the governor, and Agent Peters told me, "You're coming with us, and so is that briefcase," there wasn't a soul left who doubted what had really happened. Karen looked like she wanted the ground to swallow her up. But the real battle was just getting started. At the hospital, I laid out every piece of evidence: maps, invoices, bank statements, the works. It was all there, plain as day. Karen and Thorne stealing land by the foot, funneling HOA money into shell companies, lining their pockets, while the rest of us paid for shoreline restoration that never happened. The governor's chief of staff and the state police listened, connecting dots I didn't even know existed. Turns out Thorne was tied to offshore accounts, money laundering, the whole 9 yards. Right when I thought it couldn't get crazier, Thorne himself shows up in the parking garage, tries to secure my belongings, meaning steal my evidence. I let him grab the briefcase, then clocked him square in the jaw. Nothing fancy, just enough to drop a grown man with expensive shoes. State troopers swooped in, cuffed him, and just like that, the good old boys club started to fall apart. But you want to know the best part? The real revenge? The kind that stings in the middle of the night. That was all Tina. While the state got its case together, she used Karen's own bylaw rules to bury her in fines: wrong color on her welcome sign, trash bins left out-of-season flags, emails sent to every neighbor complete with pictures and polite reminders. The neighbors, they loved it. For once, the weapon Karen used against everyone else was being used against her. Eventually, even the board caved. They called an emergency meeting after a video of Karen screaming on our front lawn about how she is the HOA started circulating. You can't unsee your queen losing her crown in public. The vote was unanimous. Karen Out Records opened every dirty secret laid bare. And just to cap it off, the state police showed up mid-meeting and arrested Karen and her treasurer right there in front of the whole community. The sound of those handcuffs, yeah, you don't forget that. The fallout was biblical accounts. Frozen developer indicted the commissioner who'd rubber-stamped it all, hauled off too. The lake access restored. The Mustang's floor got scrubbed and sealed until not a drop of blood or oil remained. About a month later, the governor called us in. "Thank me for the steady hands, Tina, for getting the truth out first." He said, "You didn't just save your block. You handed us a broom." Truth is, I just wanted things back the way they were. Quiet, honest, neighborly. And we got that. Tina kept all the signed violation mailers, proof we'd played it by the book. Ed chaired the finance committee, the community walked the access path, and the new board called for special elections. No Karens allowed. What makes someone untouchable? For Karen and Thorne, it was money, titles, and control. Turns out none of that stands up to a parcel map, a scanner app, a belt, and a neighborhood that's had enough. The story isn't just about winning or revenge. It's about standing up when you're supposed to sit down, about calling a bully's bluff and showing your neighbors that power belongs to those who use it for good. So here's my question for you. Have you ever stood up to a bully and won? Or maybe you've watched a little truth tear down a giant lie. Drop a comment, tell your story, and let's talk about what justice really looks like. Because sometimes all it takes is one stubborn neighbor, one smart wife, and a garage where every wrench is exactly where it should be.